Hi, this is Jace continuing to create a public record of my case. This is episode 2, the extraction phase, how the operation began in the USA, how the CIA extracted me, which is they have done before. It's documented that they have done something like this before. Alright, so the operation started with an extraction marriage in 2016, what looked like personal relationship was used to bring me under U.S. jurisdiction. This episode can be referenced to the basis of claim file, supplemental written submission Judy, LOPS, case, Hale, MS, which is I made them ready here, right? LOPS, Judy, and section 10, evaluating my character. This is documented in the basis of claim, supplemental submissions, Judy, LOPS, case, Hale, Mass, supplementals, plus section 10. Once inside the United States, the operation quickly expanded into isolation, gaslighting, and economic sabotage. Basically, the love bombing stage here, this one, right? Online relationship. Her name was Sarah. This was from outside the United States while I was in Egypt, right? It started from Turkey and then I moved to Egypt. Anyway, so let's see here. So for about 3 years, she contacted me from Kennesaw in Atlanta. Atlanta is a vibrant city, right? It has transportation, lots of jobs, stuff like that. It's old money, CNN and Coca-Cola, but still more vibrant, not isolated, right? There are buses and stuff like that. Before we get married, she moved to Statesboro, Georgia, here, in nowhere, where there's no buses, no metro, no even taxi services. It was extremely limited, and a rural area where almost nobody is there, closer to Georgia Southern University. Right, so isolation is a tactic recognized by many psychologists, and it's documented as a tactic used by intelligence agents, and they rely on picking a character of a straightforwardness, which Dr. Romani here is discussing. And most importantly, they use the United States as the environment to manipulate, right? Which is similar to the Truman's Show movie. So you're a true man who's straightforward. They bring you to the United States thinking that the country itself, the culture, the people was all new, right? They can manipulate it. It's all new to you. It's not something like a local who was born in America can see. You will see things differently. So Dr. Ramani here in this video, The Death of Straightforwardness in Narcissistic Relationship, confirm this tactic of a Truman Show, or how they deal with their targets, right? And it's in their best interest to isolate you as well, right? Because you don't know what is exactly going on in America, for example. So this is the basis of extraction. 3 months before we get married, she moved to here. Before we get married, she was in Atlanta, and it's a love bombing stage where, okay, all dreams will come true in America, be with you anywhere we go, stuff like that. So after a year almost, I found a job in the Home Depot, and here's where they manipulate also the environment. One day I was called by the store manager. I went at the back of the store. The store manager the store manager wanted to interview me, accusing me of not focusing on my work. Okay, this is a customer service job, so people will talk to you, you will serve them. You cannot ignore them, so you cannot be within your mind thinking while somebody's standing in front of you, right? But anyway, so what happened that day is she let me wait in the manager room, right, at the end of the uh, store. So the store entrance was from here, right? This is the entire store, all sections, but the management offices was here and the room was here. So out of nowhere, I found 3 police officers getting into the room with guns, right? And story short, I was reported to them as a mass shooter. And this is how they manipulate the environment and discredit the character, right? So I didn't even have anything with me, so there was no knives, no guns, nothing. But this is how they create the character in the system. He was reported before as a mass shooter and stuff like that. What makes it theatrical is that when the cops took me from inside the Home Depot to outside, everything was normal inside the store, right? But outside there was about 3 police cars, the big long fire department cars, 2 ambulance cars, stuff like that. You took me to the ambulance. This is what I'm reporting. On that date, all right, I was taken by the ambulance after I have been reported as a mass shooter, right? And then I had to meet with a psychiatrist, and then they released me because I was okay. Like, there's nothing they can. They did not find anything of what has been reported, right? So it's scary that 3 police officers raise guns on you in a closed room, right? But that's how they started their Truman Show, which the goal was to be fired. So I got fired from this job, doing nothing wrong about it, right? But that's how the CIA works, and this is why this attitude, this kind of false accusations is dangerous, because it happened to me in Canada. For example, I reported in my basis of claim that Ontario Works, this is the branch of the Ontario government responsible for social services, providing benefits for people in need, stuff like that. Out of nowhere, right, I received this message: you did not attend your initial Ontario Works appointment. Please call blah blah blah. Right? So I respond back, I was not aware of or told of the appointment, and I'm not aware what type of an appointment and why, right? So then they said you were scheduled for a mandatory telephone appointment to determine your ongoing eligibility for Ontario Works. This initial appointment is required following application for it. So they accused me of missing a mandatory phone call that nobody told me about, right? And then they continued this kind of attitude until they did not call me also on this rescheduled appointment, and my case manager ending up sending me official letter of closing my file. Well, still lucky me, it was not closed, but it's the same cycle, right? You did not focus on your job, ends up having a justification of, well, he's a mass shooter, we should fire him. In the example of Ontario Works, you did not answer the phone call, which nobody called me. It ends up with file closed. So fired, file closed for no reason, and that's why it's dangerous, because they create the files they want. You don't exist. In the system, you exist based on the narratives you built for your life to destroy it and discredit you, right? So this is my experience in Canada. I end up complaining about this lady online, that she never called me and she didn't even respond to my calls. And this is why I'm not saving Canada, because if you approach a man like me and he's 44 years old, accusing him of not responding to a phone call and closing his file legally, right? This is the law that rely on. This is scary. So here, this was the supplemental about mass shooter. This was the hospitalization documents I submitted to the immigration part, because later on they faked another crisis that I'm suicidal, mental instability, and forced hospitalization. Right, so I've been through a divorce. I call for help. They come, they call the police. He's suicidal. They took me to the hospital, and I was released after 3 working days. I get into it's 5 days. Out of them was 3 working days. It was a panel of 6 doctors. They were all psychiatrists, plus the head of the hospital himself. They interviewed me for 2 hours, and I was released. But why the CIA do that? In case they killed you, in case they squeeze you enough, you commit a hate crime or you did not commit a hate crime. When you kill yourself, they have a record. They created a record that this man was suicidal before, right? He's been through a hard time. So I was not suicidal, but that's how the kind of a Truman Show continues, and they create this false record of a crisis where I was released after 5 days. Here is a testimony from the pastor. I was baptized in this church, Compassion Christian Church. Another testimony from another pastor from New York, which it's kind of a testimony that say, hey, this guy does not have a acculturation problem. This guy has no such problem, which is the CIA use to justify not excluding you from workplace, right? That you did not, you're too Egyptian for us to work in America, kind of, right? So I submit these testimonies to tell the Canadians, which they know because they apply the same tactics, that, hey, I don't have this problem, right? And here, what I am submitting is an evidence that I loved this woman. I did my best to build a married life. So I was trying to move to Austin, Texas. After 6 months of researching which best state to build a married life in, I spent a long time trying to decide where I should take this woman and build a married life with. I offered her to move to Qatar or move to United Arab Emirates, because it was completely different in this Statesboro, Georgia, or even the entire America. We would have had a better life outside America, but she chose to isolate me. So this is an evidence from my mother-in-law. This is an email from my mother-in-law asking me not to go to Austin, Texas. Right? And who moved to Austin, Texas? Elon Musk, right? And he moved his wife's and family, kids, to Austin, Texas. So I'm trying to tell the officer here that, hey, My choice was not only a matter of being in love with a woman or just being married to a woman. My choice was something that somebody else chose as the best option to raise a family, to keep a family, to keep wives in. So it's a genuine uh, proof that I tried to build a married life with this woman, right? And this is about my character, so I'm not a man busy with playing a victim, and that's what happens. So the CIA relies on violating human rights, crimes, they do torture people, they do, and then when you speak up, they say, oh, he's a conspiracy theorist, right? So when I arrived at Atlanta Airport and I was taken to Statesboro, Georgia, and I found myself so isolated and my wife so isolated, and we don't have like the environment to build a married life. I start complaining, right? And then she told me, you are playing a victim. So it's the same concept. It's the same concept. They hurt you, they isolate you, and then they blame you for it. You are playing a victim, you are a conspiracy theorist. I'm trying to prove here that I've been completing so many courses online when I'm free, when they kept me unemployed for uh, many years. So I've done this in Egypt actually. I know I'll be blocked from work, but my mind was not busy playing a victim. My mind was busy rebuilding myself. Uh, this is Tom Tortorici, is the director of immigration services in New York. After he contacted me from New York, NYPD cops came after me with black cars, right? So this is also related that I was targeted. I'm not playing a victim. All right, so isolation was a weapon. Before marrying me, while I was in Egypt, my ex contacted me from Atlanta, Georgia. 3 months before I moved to the United States, she moved to Statesboro, Georgia, completely isolated location with no transportation. Gaslighting. She took me to McDonald's. That's what happened as soon as I received my work permit, actually. And that's what proved that it was a CIA operation. She first time took me to McDonald's hiring event. There were no customers in the restaurant, but many were filing forms at the same time to be hired, right? When I asked the store manager to file this form to be employed with McDonald's, when I asked to fill one, the manager asked me to fill one online and dismissed me. She told me, okay, you go fill one online. She's like, go out, right? So they are trying to, this is the beginning of work exclusion, right? They know you come to work, build life, you will not get it. This is started in 2017, as soon as I got my work permit. So in Statesboro, Georgia, operation has started, economic and career sabotage. 1 year to land my first job at the Home Depot as a customer service agent, where the CIA started the hire and fire process, not only to discredit me, but, yeah, but as an act of menticide to convince me that I'm not fit to work and destroy my self-confidence, and to make me believe that I was the problem, not the system that was systematically excluding me. So what happened next is that every time I find a job, I get fired the same way I get fired in the Home Depot, or the same reason that the entire works closed my file. They didn't call me. I called them, they didn't answer. Your file is closed, right? So for no good reason, it's a cycle of hiring and firing to make me believe, oh, the problem is mine. I'm not fit at any job, right? So anyway, because they rely on the true man's show style, that America is kind of a country where I have to believe everything around me and stuff like that. I'm a straightforward person who believes everything, and most importantly, I'm a visual, right? Do you think I'm an auditor? I'm not visual with women. I'm not visual with men. I'm not visual with the documents that I see. This is how I discover fraud. But they mainly rely on the fact, like in the Truman Show, that he will believe everything around him that is real, right? Anyway, so I lived below the poverty line for 6 years, while highly qualified, reported every cash income and never applied for benefits, even though I was eligible. I publicly confronted the FBI director about this fact. So in the same channel, I publicly confronted the FBI director that, hey, I only applied for benefits when you guys tried to kill me, or when you guys broke me, when you got this stage accident happened to me, and I got fired from all jobs because that was escalation. Complete isolation, no jobs, no money, no people. They want me to commit suicide, right? So, and this is also mentioned in the CIA supplemental, maps these early tactics to document intelligence methods, while the Keys supplemental shows the white supremacist ideology and dehumanization that undermined the operation from the start. So do I have the keys open? Okay, we'll discuss this later. Anyway, this was the foundation. So you can refer to keys, because I will explain it later. Everything that followed, stage accidents, sonic attacks, false diagnosis, was built on this initial extraction phase, right? So if you want to go ahead of me, you can find the CIA supplemental submission here, and you can find Keys supplemental submission here, and the Canada profile main submissions and supplemental submissions. In episode 3, I will move forward to the next stage, the staged assassination attempts. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in episode 3.